Welcome to Perfectly Twisted. I'm Nicole Eggert, and this is Dave Palais. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. I'm actually enjoying the weather. I know everywhere else in the country it's warm this week, but in Southern California, where you and I are, it's extremely nice. You know, everyone
Yes.
else is basically around 100 degrees, but we're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah, we've got a nice marine layer going. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know what have you watched or heard of the documentary about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders? Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what? It is very funny you bring this up because the only people that have brought this up to me all week long are women. You'd think it would be more men that are watching, but it is women that have completely brought this up to me. You are, no joke, probably the seventh person this week to ask me this question.
Well, probably because you're a sports guy, so it's like, yeah, I would have thought. But you didn't watch it. You did or you didn't watch it?
I've
Neither.
watched past seasons and I know how it works. And I remember the old 1978 Burt Convey movie remember when they did the movie on the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders? Do you remember this at all? Well, you were a few years younger than me, but this was a big deal because the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders were always a big deal, maybe even bigger than the football team. Like
Yeah,
everybody was talking. I mean, there was an adult film made about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders,
of
basically.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I watched, there's 2 seasons, so I binged both. And I found the second season a little boring because it was just kind of exactly like the first season, but just
Okay.
different girls. But the second season, these women fought for their pay,
Yes.
which I found amazing. And I was so sad to see when the season ended that the women who fought for it weren't going to benefit from it. They didn't get the pay raise, but the next set of women will.
Okay.
So I mean, good for them. Like, I just can't. I mean, I say I can't believe that they were getting paid so little, but it's Texas, right? It's Texas. They have all that. Cowboys is such a big franchise. They put so much money into it, and these women work so hard, and they were getting paid like nothing.
Nothing. All right. So I have a couple questions about this because the people who have brought this up to me, as I said this week, have basically all gone to exactly what you said. It was all about the $15 to the $75 and an hour. And
Yeah.
so in my experience in sports, there are people who worked for teams like the Lakers who you go, man, I got a job with the Lakers. And the Lakers knew this to go, it's a big deal to work for the Lakers. So they didn't get paid basically their worth, you know? People who work 12, 15, 20-hour days because there's a game the next day that weren't making the money they'd make, let's say, in a different business. But at the same time, you had on your resume that you're working with the Lakers. You're around superstars and movie stars, and it's an honor just to say you work for the Lakers. So, you know, the Cowboys aren't the first team to do, hey, you're lucky to be part of this. And we know it's a big deal. So a couple questions are, one, have you ever had that experience where, hey, you're lucky to be on this TV show or you're lucky to get this movie offer, so we're going to lowball you? Has that ever happened to you of saying, hey, guess what? There's someone else that will take this for this amount of money?
Sure. Yeah, but it's a little bit different, right? Because an actor's like there's a bottom line they can't pay you less than, right? So there's scale, which is similar to like minimum wage.
Yes.
And it's still good pay and you're getting to do what you love. And yeah, it's a choice that you make. And that's what the cheerleaders were doing, right? They were doing this because so many of the women, I was so shocked by them that they didn't even know that there was pay at all. Like they would say, oh, I thought this was just a privilege. I didn't know that I would
Yeah.
even be making any money. And it's like, what are you talking about? These sports teams bring in more money than anything else in the world, right? Like,
Oh, they're bringing a ton. I mean, put it this way, before the first game is even played, every owner receives a check for $400 million. That's from just the TV contracts. That's not even counting merchandise and ticket prices and everything else. That just for being involved in the NFL, and there are only 32 teams, and it's everywhere, right? It's on so many different networks, ways to watch. Each owner receives a check for 400 million.
I mean, that's big money.
Yep, every
That's
year.
that's big money. And they're these women. I wonder if it's going to spread out to other teams and other cheerleading teams because It's only right. Like it's nonsense. They work so hard. These cheerleaders are sacrificing their bodies. So many of them have to have surgeries afterwards. I mean, it's being a cheerleader is a sport. It's definitely 100% a sport, and it needs to be treated as such.
You
I
know,
get it that they're
it
not
is.
part of the team. I get it that
Yeah.
it is just
No,
like, you know.
you're right. I don't disagree. I mean, you're talking to a guy that's a lifelong sports fan and sports broadcaster, for most of my life. But I'll tell you, my brother-in-law is an emergency room doctor, and he always says, walk into any emergency room across the country on a Friday night, you're going to see more cheerleaders than football players. You see cheerleaders all the time. Every emergency room across the country is like that. There's major injuries.
Major injuries. And then, like, one girl was groped by a photographer during a game
Wow.
on the field, and she filed a police report, and they said, "Oh," and this is wild. I mean, but this is, again, Texas for you, because they don't respect women's rights whatsoever. But they said that you can't prove it, so they
Wow.
just wouldn't press charges on him. There's a million cameras. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
exactly.
Of course, they could have run the footage back and found it,
Yeah.
but
No, yeah, you could have, absolutely. But it's one of those, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, I'm sure they didn't want any more attention to it either.
yeah.
So a couple things are, I mean, it sounds callous to say this. There's so many people who want those jobs. So many people want the reputation of saying, I was once a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, and maybe, I know you turned down Playboy, but for a lot of women, it was an honor to be asked to be in Playboy. To be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader is the cream of the crop. It's bigger than being a Laker girl. It's bigger than being a Raiderette. It is the biggest deal going by far.
Yeah.
So when the girl said, "Hey, I was shocked I even got paid. I would do this job for free," I'm sure a lot of girls in their minds were like, "I just want to be able to tell my friends and family I'm a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader."
Yes, yes, and I get that part too, but, ladies, you need to be paid for your time.
Yeah.
Uh, Men don't work for free.
No, they don't. They don't. Let
They
me
don't.
let me ask you this: are you surprised that not every team has cheerleaders? Like a lot of them don't.
I was just starting to, like, notice that and recognize that, and I have a friend who was a Laker girl. I know they don't get paid well either.
No.
Um, yeah, it's kinda surprising that they don't, but I'm not sure how many women really wanna go work for that low a pay, especially in 2025. Like, who has the time? You have to have
Exactly.
so much energy to have, because these women have other jobs and other
Yep.
careers to keep them alive and living. Um, they, you know, who it's a rare species that can do that. Go to work all day and then go and work all night as a cheerleader like that, physically taxing. It's a lot.
No, you're right. I used to do a show with the San Diego Chargers at the time, and we had two cheerleaders would come in on the show every Friday, and they'd go through their schedule, and it was a lot. I mean, it's not just the practices that were every day and the game on Sunday. It's a lot of community service stuff. I mean, the
Mhm.
hospitals and the boys and girls clubs and wherever they show up, and the calendars and everything. And I know a lot of people crave attention and they like it. At the same time, maybe they love football. I have no idea anyone's reasoning for wanting to do it, but I was amazed by the amount of time. I mean, these girls, as you said, with the cheerleading and their jobs, you're looking at 20-hour days. It was amazing to do it almost every single day.
Yeah. And it's so physical. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just two jobs where you're just exerting a normal amount of energy. You're
Yeah.
really, really putting yourself out there. And the other thing, and I had to talk with Keegan about it, was it's wild how it's your everything. It's your world. All day, all night. It's all you think about. You practice all the time, and then it just ends one day, and it just
Yeah.
stops.
It's like
And
that in pro
you know,
sports too. Yeah.
yeah. And so, like, when we had Cassidy on, who wrote her book about, she was a diver, and she resurfaced was the book, and she was a training to be an Olympian, and she made it to the Olympics, and then it all just stopped one day, and she was just lost.
Yeah.
And so I just don't want Keegan to be one of those kids that peaks at high school. You see so many of that, like the star football players, like Mr. Dad Bod,
Yeah.
living in a small town doing nothing. I just, yeah, I find it wild. She felt like she'd already thought about that, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll focus on college." And I thought, okay, well, at least she's thought about it already,
Has she ever said anything about wanting to cheer in college?
Um, we'll cross that bridge when we get there,
Yeah,
but I feel like cheer could be a good way to get into college, like a scholarship
it
maybe,
works. Yeah,
you know? Yeah, and it's such a good sense of community on cheer because you have this built-in group of friends, and
yeah,
also you do the service and you do all of these things. It's good to I like that aspect of it.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I have a niece around the same age as your daughter, and she's in cheer, and she's like her whole year is surrounded by cheer, and she absolutely loves it. Has a great personality, like your daughter loves every bit of it. You know, everything that goes with it. It is fantastic, and every time I see her, I'm like, I think it's good for her life. I've never asked her, what do you plan on doing after high school when you get there, but at the same time, it's it's the same thing as a baseball player or a football player. It's part of your routine. And you see a lot of pro athletes when, as you said, it's over and the routine stops. All of a sudden, what am I going to do to occupy my time? And that's when people obviously have issues. The kids that I've coached in the past who have been drafted and been major league or baseball players, when it's over, it is so fast. Like I always go, what did
Yeah.
they tell you? And he goes, literally, you get a phone call, and within 10 seconds, your entire life has changed. They go, within 10 seconds, they cut you. And they go, hey, just want to thank you for your time. We're making a change. Best of luck to you. Phone hangs up, and you're in shock. What
And
just
that's
happened?
it.
All the hours I put in, everything I did, it's over in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, it's jarring.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not just the time you put in at practice, right? It's at the gym that you go to. Yeah, you eat, breathe, drink, think it. You're totally immersed in it.
So let me ask you, as a higher standard. I mean, and luckily I've had to go through this, but you've gone through this as well. When people say, "Hey, I was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader," because I've seen the women that were in that 1978 movie, and I know what they look like now. But in your mind, you're going, "I remember when they looked like this," and then I always feel bad for these women who are now much older. We're talking almost 50 years later, and people want them to look like they did when they were Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders in 1978.
Well,
And
that's stupid.
a- and but I'm saying, with the people, the jobs you've had, whether it's Charles in Charge or Baywatch, people think of Nicole in that red bathing suit, or other girls you've had on the show as guests. I always feel bad for every one of them of what is the expectation of what people think they're gonna get and what's fair to those women.
Well, I think luckily we're moving out of that and we're embracing age now, and I think that it's not okay to shame women like that anymore, finally. Because there's a lot of tabloids that will take a picture of 19, 20-year-old Nicole and put it in 19, 20-year-old Nicole made up in a bathing suit with a professional photographer at a photo shoot. They'll take that picture, like me looking my best, right, ever, next to me, a paparazzi shot of me with like the wind blowing and I'm on my way to the market. Or for some women, they're like walking their dog. You're not
Yeah.
even, you're probably in your pajamas. Um, and they want to say unrecognizable or whatever. And I think that now people shame that because I see there's one tabloid that still does it, and I will look at the comments, and people say, "Don't do that. This is shameful. Don't do this to these women." And
Good.
it's and back to your point with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, a lot of those women, they're in the show because their daughters are now
Oh,
trying
wow.
out. So there we see we're around a lot of the women who used to be, and
Yeah.
the two head coaches, the choreographer and the head coach, they're ex-cowboy cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, and they have aged um, naturally and gracefully, and they're badass because they're these powerhouses. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're beautiful. So, um, and I there was a time when I was afraid of aging, if we're all going to be honest. Like, yeah, that seems scary. It's like men tend to get better looking, and women, the stereotype was that we didn't. And I don't look at it like that anymore. As I get older, I look at an older woman and I think, wow, and you just like it's a privilege. It's a privilege to age. It's a privilege to get older, and you get so much wiser, hopefully. And life is just different. So I really look at aging women so differently now. It's like I have such a different respect and admiration.
It's funny. I watched the Barbie movie yesterday. Happened to be on, and I saw it in the movie theater, but I saw it on Direct TV yesterday. And there's a scene in the movie where Margot Robbie's sitting on a bus bench, and there's an old woman next to her on the bench. Do you remember
Yeah.
this scene?
Yeah.
And she looks at her and she says, "You're so beautiful." And she looks right back at her and she goes, "I know it."
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And I think it's hard for a lot of people to adjust to the mirror, and guys and girls. I think it's tough, but it is different for men and women. I mean, for example, when a couple gets divorced, often you see the man date someone that's younger, and the women are forced to date someone who's older.
yeah. Yes. But in the other side of that coin is that I don't want to date a younger guy. I don't.
Yeah,
There's no. I can admire like,
I
oh, that's
couldn't
so
see you with
cute.
the younger guy.
No.
I think you'd crush him. I think you
Yeah.
would just go, "You're so damn dumb."
Yeah, and it just grosses me out. It kind of like grosses me out. Like, they if you're anywhere near my kid's age, like this is just not
Yeah,
okay. I look the older I get, that I'll say those kids, and Keegan's like, that's not a kid, that's a man, and I'm like, it's a kid to me. So
yeah,
I like the idea of older men, and men as they get older, they hopefully get wiser as well, and they honestly, most of them look better.
yeah.
They do. But you're right. When men get divorced, they date younger
They
women.
go younger.
Yeah. But that says a lot about where they're at mentally too, because
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look at men. I go, "There's a reason why you got divorced, because you never matured as your marriage went along. Like you're still a goofball. Like you're still, like guys are dumb. Like I don't know why women put up with men anyway. I mean, most of the men I know, I can't figure out why women are with any of those guys. And that's probably 90% of my friends. Going, what did she see in you? Like you're a lot of work. You're a lot of work. You know
yeah. Hmm.
that's it. I mean, it's a running joke with my wife. I always say I'm as good as they get. And you and I both know I'm not that good. I'm just better than those guys. You know, that's kind of it. But anyway, it is one of those things that's interesting. Speaking of looking like people expect you to look, the one who right now, who was one of the first guests we had, and she couldn't be nicer, is Erica Laniak. And she did an interview recently, and there's so much written about her tattoos. And
Yeah.
I was like, it's not fair to her that this is the way she expresses herself. She's still beautiful.
Yeah.
And she just got, as you said, they used the word unrecognizable to hurt you.
Yeah, she's one that gets this all the time too.
Yeah.
So I know that they caught her out walking her dog. She felt very violated.
Yeah.
Um I, yeah, it's just crazy. And she's a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up, because she's still gorgeous. She's still beautiful, even no makeup. She's natural. She's still got it. And if she wants to put tattoos all over her body, I mean, are you paying her bills? Like, what do you
Exactly.
have to say about it?
Exactly.
I
And if
don't
you
get it.
follow her on social media, if anyone follows her, you realize she's a sweet person. To
Oh
me,
yeah.
I'm at the point in life that's the most important thing, is that she's couldn't be a nicer, sweeter person, and then to get hammered by people she doesn't even know, it just seems so unfair.
So unfair. And just it's so ridiculous. I saw some of those articles, but I didn't read anything on it, because I've kind of trained myself to not pay attention to that crap
Yeah.
anymore. But they were criticizing her for the tattoos. Is
It,
this
it was just it was to get clicks. That's what it was. That's how I looked at it. It was to get
yeah.
clicks, that look at all the tattoos and look what she did to her body, and then they're showing pictures of her with Baywatch or in the movie Under Siege, and you're like, what the hell's your problem? I mean, but we all know how it works. We all know it's about clicks.
Yeah. Yeah, leave her alone. But
Yeah.
God, it's speaking of bad men. Did you watch The Valley last night?
It's funny. I'm in the middle of it right now,
Oh,
and the men's group was weird. Men's groups always seem weird to me anyway. When the guy who's running the group saying we're all brothers, I like almost laughed out loud. Going, are you kidding me? And half the guys in the circle want to stab each other. They can't stand each other. One, no one trusts the guy to their right or left. And then at the same time, they're going back and forth between that and the girls' lunch. And that was frustrating to watch. Like I almost can't stand every girl at the table except the girl who, as they say, gets way too emotional, and the one who's the former
Yeah.
beauty queen.
Yeah.
She's the only one I like.
I
Everyone else
know.
at the table I can't stand.
I know. That one, Janet, I mean, and
Yeah.
good
What the
Lord,
hell?
what she's just
Yeah.
what is up your ass? And,
Yeah.
but Jax is a nightmare. That
Yeah.
he is a full-blown grown nightmare.
A
That guy
compulsive liar. No matter what he says, he's a compulsive liar.
compulsive liar. I mean, so gross. And Brittany, I don't know if you got to the part, so it's a little spoiler alert here.
It's all right.
They're supposed to meet for lunch to discuss things, and apparently he went out the night before and was at the bar and drinking and with women and all of that. And then so she didn't show up to the lunch, and she told him
Yeah.
when he called her, she told him why, and he's like, pretending to be sober.
Wow.
Like it's just so
Yeah.
bizarre. It's so
Yeah.
bizarre. And she says, she's telling him, like, nothing's changed. I don't want to meet with you. Da, 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 da. And then she's like, you were at the bar. You were with women. There's pictures. You're 45 years old. And he hangs up on her. He hangs up the phone. And he's 45. He has
Yeah.
grown up right in front of our eyes, but he hasn't grown up.
He hasn't.
He has spiraled.
He is what we thought he was. It's an old football quote from a coach who says it. They are what we thought they were. He is what we thought he was. And it goes all the way back to when he was on Vanderpump and all of us watching and the people on the show knew this guy's a bad guy. Everyone tried to warn Brittany, this guy is not the guy of your dreams. You are out of your mind. You can Kentucky bumpkin. What is wrong with you?
She had to learn the hard way. She knows now.
Yeah.
It was great because one of the guys on the show describes Jax as he looks like he's ready to explode or something like that. He
Exactly.
looks like he's gonna pop, and I was like, oh, that is exactly what he looks like. He looks like he's gonna spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
That thing where people just explode.
Yep.
That could happen to him. He's like, oh, his veins are popping out of his head. So it kind of, because he's such a liar, leads me to believe that he's probably not sober at all in any way.
No.
Right.
I mean,
and now I'm questioning, did he even really go to this rehab? Was this rehab even real?
And what kind of rehab allows so much access to a phone? I've always heard once you're in rehab, you don't have access to your phone.
I know. Andy Cohen didn't make him, but put him on the spot and said, can you give us the name of this rehab? And watch what happens live. And he did it. He said the name. Now I want to go back and watch it and look up this rehab because I wonder if that was a made up name. Like, who knows? Is that really where he was? Like, I just don't believe a thing that guy says. It's so gross. Liars are so gross. Like, there's nothing ickier.
No, it's frustrating because everyone wants to give the person you care about the benefit of the doubt, and then they continue to lie over and over, and until you just realize you have to assume everything they say is a lie. Otherwise, you have no
nobody
chance.
wants to be friends with that.
Yeah, you have no chance.
People you have to realize if you're honest about your flaws and everything that's wrong with you, it's almost endearing, and people will give you grace for it.
Yeah.
But when you lie, it becomes weird. So like with the other guy on the show, Danny, who they're kind of pointing that maybe has a drinking problem, but they don't say a word to Jesse because he's very open about that he drinks all day, every day, and that he opens a bottle of champagne. So nobody says anything to him, right? They leave him alone. But Danny, who kind of does it on the side and on the sly, they're starting to pick at him. So when you're just open and honest, it's almost like people accept it and they're like, well, at least he's honest about it. So Jax really needs to take a page out of that book, because
I can't tell you, maybe you can tell me, when is the last episode of The Valley that ran before the one last night? And the reason I say that is they took so much time off. I literally, when I saw it show up on my DVR, I was going, I thought maybe the season ended. Like, I completely forgot where we were at. It seemed like they took too many weeks off in between episodes. Yeah, it wasn't. Was it because of the holidays? And I'm trying to think in June, what did we have outside of Father's Day? But it wasn't. I haven't seen an episode in 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't think you're correct, but okay.
Really? I got to go back and look at it. Okay, when's the last one you remember? Unless my DVR is missing them, because I haven't seen a show in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, no, it's been on. It's
I
been
wonder what I
on.
missed. I got to go back and go back to the Bravo channel and check it out, or
Yeah.
NBC or Peacock or whatever, and find it, because on mine it hadn't shown up. I haven't seen the show in a while,
Oh,
and I
no,
was like, it's
it's
been
been
the
airing.
longest time to me. I
Oh,
wonder
no.
why then it skipped on. Maybe I'm off. If I miss some shows, I can't wait to catch up. It's one of my favorites. Honest gosh, it's one of my favorites to watch, and there are a lot of them that I don't I'm backing away from, trying to create more time to go. Like, I don't know about you, but I do that. It's just good for my health. I
Yes.
know I spend too much time on my phone,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm like, all right, what can I cut out of my watching that is not making me better?
Yes.
But I do like The Valley. I'm not gonna lie, I like that show.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I have to be, like you said, I have to be in the mood for it, though. I have to be ready to be like, okay, I can watch this right now. Because yeah, it's a it's a lot. All the fighting, like it happened to me watching Atlanta the other day. I couldn't get through the
Yeah.
episode. I had to stop because I was like, okay,
Do you erase the whole thing and go back to it, or do you just say I'm out for this one?
it depends. Like, I'll probably go back to it, but and pick up where I left off. But yeah, it can just be, sometimes the fighting is just, yeah, it's not what I want to hear. So I have a little product alert.
Okay.
I think this will be my first like negative one.
Oh wow,
I
let's hear this.
I
Yeah.
know. I got the beef tallow body and face moisturizer that is all the rage.
Yeah. I see this on my phone nonstop. Every
Ugh.
time I open my phone, it's right there.
Okay, well, I got this one, Sora.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it's 100% organic, grass-fed, unscented. It has jojoba oil in it and some honey. Gross.
Does it
So
smell
gross.
bad? Does it smell bad?
I don't wanna say it particularly smells bad.
Okay.
So, like, Keegan was super excited. I was, like, iffy about this, and I didn't really think I was gonna have a problem with it, because 'cause I'm kinda like anything that will save my skin right now, I'm down
Me too.
for.
Me too, but I haven't bought
Um,
this. But I see it
yeah, but
everywhere.
my skin hurts really bad from a lot of my medication.
Okay.
So it stings and burns and itches. So, I'm down for whatever. So I thought, okay, and I put it on my arms. I didn't put it on my face, and Keegan got super excited, and she put it all over her face, and then she looks at me, and she's like, "I'm so uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. I have to go wash my face."
Oh, no way.
And, yeah, it's the texture. She could smell it a lot because it was on her face. So there is, you know how nothing's unscented,
Yeah.
really. It just means it doesn't have fragrance
Is
in
it
it.
smooth, or does it have chunks in it? Like, what do you mean it
It's
felt
smooth
weird on the
because
face?
it's whipped. It's smooth.
Okay.
It definitely is smooth. I can't get it out of my head that I'm rubbing beef fat on my body. I
Yeah.
just I
Yeah. That's
can't
why I haven't bought
can't
it.
get past it. Can't
That's
get
why I
past
haven't bought it. I'm like, I'm gonna rub beef fat on my body. And it's funny. I give your daughter credit. As a teenager, I would have been so freaked out that it would make my skin break out.
it.
I would have gone, oh my God, my face gonna break out?
Right. Well, she does think about that, but it's supposed to help with acne and stuff like that
Okay.
anyways. But yeah, she's standing there, she's like, "I'm so uncomfortable."
I wish you would have
Uh,
recorded it. That's funny.
I know. Yeah, I have to wash my face immediately. Yeah, it's so, this brand, if you're gonna try it, I felt like it was more reasonably priced for a larger amount. It comes in little, and a little goes a long way. And this was 5 ounces, so it was the biggest I found at the best price point, and still being organic and grass fed. So this company, if you're gonna try it, Bisora Tallow Balm, and I got it off the dreaded Amazon. Um, it's not for me. Not for
No.
me. No, sir. No, no. No, no,
So what are
no,
you
no,
gonna
no.
do? Are you gonna
Hard.
throw it in the trash? What are you
No, I'm
gonna do?
returning it. I'm returning
Oh,
it.
good. Good.
I'm returning it.
Good.
Yeah. I was honest. I said I can't deal with the texture. I
Yeah.
cannot. So I'm sending it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you. That, again, it shows up on my phone every time I open my phone. And I haven't made the jump to try it because I can't get over the idea that I'm rubbing beef fat on my face.
No, then don't.
Yeah.
my advice is don't try it. If you're skeptical
Yeah.
at all, don't pull the trigger.
How long are you supposed to leave it on your face?
You just leave it.
You just leave it and walk out? Just
Yeah.
let it do its
Just like
thing?
for moisturizer. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
I will say my arms looked great when I put it on, but then I grabbed this rice bran oil that Keegan has that she was making body scrubs out of. I put that on my arms and they look great too.
Okay.
The oil made it look great too, so I'm passing on the beef fat and just will stick to oils.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So
Look at
that's
that. There,
yeah.
there you go. Okay.
I wonder who else has tried it and feels
I,
this way, 'cause it gets great reviews. You go to the reviews and it's like people love it, and I was like, "Okay, people really love it."
yeah.
So,
That
yeah.
and She Legit shows up on my phone all the time. Those two
What is
things
it?
I get. She Legit. It's like a gummy vitamin, I guess. I don't know,
Oh,
but I haven't tried that either. But it's
no, don't
you're
try that. That's so
yeah,
full of sugar,
yeah,
unnecessary. Yeah, no.
yeah. I'm getting all that stuff on my phone. So I don't know. I was always interesting. I don't. I think the maybe the beef tallow thing showed up on my phone because a lot of guys my age, everyone's concerned about bags under their eyes, and they talk about it. I'm like, does my phone hear us talking about it? And all of a
Yes,
sudden, I'm
yes.
getting these things showing up all the time. But that's for men. That's the number one thing I hear is, "Hey, I have bags under my eyes. How do I get rid of the bags?" And you hear that all the time.
Okay, so you go to you get The Ordinary's caffeine. I don't get really puffy eyes. I get dark circles, but there's really nothing you can do about the dark circles. I mean,
Yeah,
it's muscle under your skin. It's a lack of fat and you can see the muscle. But The Ordinary makes like a caffeine eye serum and I've heard great things about that. So and that's about $10, somewhere between 10 and 15
there you
bucks.
go.
And you can get it at any Ulta or Sephora too, I think. So yeah. Yeah, just my opinion. I don't like it. I don't know.
Oh, there you
But
go.
cooking with it seems interesting. I might try cooking with it. I'm gonna try ghee first,
Okay.
instead of, using butter. But cooking with it, I'm a little bit more open to, but not rubbing it all over my body. No,
Do you want to get your mailbag? We've had a couple of
let's do
these
it.
have been piling up because we've had guests on the last few shows and we haven't gotten to them. But we let's get to your mailbag. It's people have been nice enough to send them in. Again, to go to Nicole's mailbag, you want to sit there and you want to get involved, ask her a direct question. All you do is go to perfectlytwisted.com and right there in the mailbags at the top of the screen, and you're also it's perfectlytwistedpod.com, I should say. I'm sorry. Perfectlytwistedpod.com, and then the mailbags at the top of the screen. All right, so you have 5 questions here from Sean. Okay. It says, Nicole, I love the would you rather questions, by the way. You have a few of them in here.
Okay.
Nicole, would you rather be able to eat whatever you want and not gain weight or be in good shape without having to work out?
Wasn't that the same thing?
Um, I think so. I can't. You can look at it a couple different ways. I guess one is you would stay the same weight, and one wouldn't give you muscle tone. I don't know what to tell you. Would you rather be able to eat whatever you want and not gain weight, or be in good shape without working out? That's how it's written.
I guess be in good shape without working out.
Yeah, nobody wants to work out, right?
Some people are so good at it. I don't know. Not me.
Yeah.
I really have to work on that. I have to increase my workouts. Ugh, dread.
It's always the starting. Like even if you used to do it all the time, it's the taking time off and starting back up and then doing it the next day. Is always tough.
Yeah, it's the pain.
Yeah.
It's the body pain and the muscle pain from doing any kind of workout. And my body takes a long time to recover.
Yeah.
So, and it's like extremely long time to recover now after everything that I've
Oh
been through
yeah.
and all the medicines I'm on. So, any added pain it's not invited. I don't invite it. Like I don't want to be in any more pain. Thank you. But I need to find that happy medium because I also I did some weights with my arms and the next day I couldn't move my arms. It
Oh
gives me
boy.
a banging headache. So I have to find where that happy medium is because my body is just not the same anymore. And that
Yeah.
would have never made my arm sore a few years ago. But
Yeah.
now I can't overdo it. I have to find like the right amount.
Yeah.
So Yes, to answer Sean's question, I guess I would rather be fit and not have to go to
Yeah.
the gym or the workout or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could eat whatever you want, would your whole diet change? And if-
Well, that's like that makes my head hurt because I can't wrap my head around that because of where I'm at,
yeah.
with health and like I don't want to eat all that stuff that makes you so fat because of
Yeah.
the chemicals, not because of the fat. Fat is I'm not afraid of fat and at all. I'm not afraid of calories and fat. I'm afraid of all the sugars and the chemicals and the Roundup that's in everything, the pesticides and the microplastics. That's what scares me. So I don't, but would it be great if I could eat all of those things if they were clean and not gain any weight?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be fun too.
That's funny. As I get older, it's not even a matter of what I eat. If it's bad, that it's bad for my body. It's how it makes me feel. Like when I eat something, even with any sugar in it, I just feel like a deflated balloon. Like I feel so exhausted and no strength. I don't like it at all. I don't like
Yeah,
it's as a kid, you don't even think twice. When you
you
see
wouldn't
those
even
like
notice.
remember those like fun dip things with just straight sugar with a
Yeah.
sugar spoon, and then you ate the
Uh-huh.
spoon with a stick.
Yeah.
Try that today. You fall unconscious.
Seriously, I know.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah,
like being a kid. Nothing
I
like being
know.
a kid.
I love those fun dips. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, there it
Yeah.
was. It was straight good. And then you look at all your friends who didn't get one when the ice cream truck came by, and you're like, "Look what I got for the next hour." I know you're jealous. All right, here we go. Next question. Nicole, would you rather eat with someone that talks while they chew or someone who chews loudly?
Oh god, talk before you chew loudly. Don't oh my goodness, the chewing loudly's gotta go. And, there's nobody more sensitive to chewing than my daughter, and she will call you out right away. "Can you eat with your mouth closed?" And she is the first one, like, any sound from anybody's mouth just gives her the ick so bad.
She's
Um
right up my alley.
Yeah, and I get it. I do get it. So, yeah, the chewing is slow down. Slow down when we eat and, be mindful while you're eating, please.
I have a relative who is a relative by marriage who is extremely pretty and the nicest person I've ever met on the planet, but yet she chews and talks at the same time. And it drives me crazy. I don't know why she has to she waits to put something in her mouth before she has something to say. And I'm like, "What the hell?" It's driving me crazy for years. But he doesn't do it to be a jerk, but it's almost like a habit of putting something in her mouth, and then with a full mouth has to say
Something to
whatever's on her
say?
mind. Yeah,
N
it's
I
bizarre.
just I guess people weren't taught eating manners? I don't know. Like,
Her
were did
siblings
you
don't do it. It's weird. She has
or
4 brothers and sisters, and no one
and
else
nobody
does it.
says anything to her? Like, "Oh my
And
god, she
they
should
let it
not be
go.
around Keegan." Keegan would be like, "You, stop that."
Yeah, I would like to
Um,
bring Keegan with me one time just to put her in her place.
yeah, I'm surprised, like, her siblings don't say anything,
They
like, that's
don't.
kinda wild.
They don't.
Hmm,
Her husband doesn't say anything. Her kids don't say
wow.
anything. No,
Wow, must not
it's
bother them at all.
it really bothers me, unfortunately. It really bothers me. All right.
I love it.
Uh, Next question here. Nicole, could you date someone that was perfect in every way, but they only watched child cartoons?
Well, as long as I don't have to watch it with
Yeah.
them, they can watch whatever they want, whatever's their guilty pleasure is fine by me. I just don't wanna, watch it.
Yeah.
So, you can watch it at your house or in your man cave or
Yeah.
whatever, that do you.
Can you imagine you find the guy that you think, all right, this is the perfect guy, and you find out you just watch a Scooby Doo like all day long? Like
It
you're
would
like, what
have
the
to
hell?
roll over. So this that trait would have to roll over into other areas. There's nobody that's like perfect, and then that's their vice. Like this has gotta be in more than one area. I don't
That is
I don't know about that.
oh my gosh. All right. Says Nicole, do you consider yourself a natural leader?
Oh, a natural leader. I don't know about that. I don't know that I'm a leader.
You don't think so?
I'm kind of not a leader or a follower. I'm kind of a a soloist.
Okay.
I don't want to be responsible for all of you, and I'm not going to follow all of you either. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just very independent.
Yeah. It's
So
interesting.
yeah, I don't know if that makes me a leader or
I think
not.
that makes you more of a leader than a follower.
Definitely not a follower.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny how, I'm as a coach, I'm around so many kids and parents are, oh, my kid's a leader. Well, I can figure it out in the first 3 minutes when you put a group together. There's a reason why there are more followers than leaders. If everybody was a leader, you'd have chaos.
Yeah.
But there's very few people, who that basically they're just natural leaders, and you know exactly who runs the group.
Yeah, I don't think that's me. I don't necessarily want the extra,
Yeah.
responsibility or the extra socialization.
Yeah.
I'm done with people at a certain point. You're the same way. Dylan, both my girls, we're all the same way. We, like, have a cutoff limit.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. All right. I can respect it. All right. Last question from Sean. Have you ever, would you ever fast?
Yes, all the time. I only
Really?
eat 1 time a day. Generally, I only eat once a day at about 3 or 4 o'clock, and, I try to not eat food as much as possible and just drink water and, juices and stuff like that, elixirs that I make, and food is just it's so bad for you. It's just
Yeah.
we don't need all this food. Nobody needs all this food, so when you fast, the key to fasting is that you why it's so healthy is because your body has time to regenerate. So if it's not worried about all this weird stuff you just put in it, it's going around itself and like giving attention to where what's needed. So it's in a
Yeah.
healing process when there's no food to digest. So you have more healing time.
So, like, when you have dinner time, let's say with your daughter, will you just sit at the table with her, or how will you do it if you've already eaten before dinner time? Like, how does it work?
We're really casual. We spend so much time together. We mostly eat around like in the living room.
Yeah.
We'll sit and watch a show and eat and
Yeah.
chat. Um, and yeah, I mean, sh it's sort of like she kind of is on that same schedule with me because she gets out of cheer and is starving.
Of course.
So it's like we eat and then, and if she's hungry later, she'll just make, there's always, fruit and food and stuff in the house. So she'll just make something smaller later.
Yeah.
But I think she's kind of similar to my schedule,
Okay. Good deal.
except she eats in the morning too.
What about work for you? Let's say you have a lunch meeting or a dinner meeting. Will you eat, or you just sit at the table?
I'll eat.
Okay.
I'll like make that my meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna be a killjoy, but so I'll make that the meal.
Have you ever? I guarantee you've had these. These have happened to me. These are the worst, by the way. When you have a lunch or dinner meeting with someone, and the people at the table are talking to you because, well, for me, it's whether it's a sports job or whatever. For you, I'm sure it's a role, and so everyone's talking to you, but while they're exchanging turns, asking you questions, they're eating. And then by the time it's over, you look at your plate and you realize it's completely full because you've never taken a bite because you've been answering questions the whole time. And then you're like, I want to eat what I ordered, but it's like everyone wants to go. It's
That's
it's always a
that's
weird
interesting.
it's a weird circumstance to go, damn it. I didn't get to take
Oh,
one bite.
interesting.
They're paying for the check and everyone's looking for their keys.
I find it more with, like, when they go to order, like, I haven't had a chance to look at the menu because
Okay.
everybody's talking to me. I
Yeah.
find that more. I guess I just eat my food. I don't I yeah, I guess I just eat my food. I haven't noticed that, but yeah, when it goes to order, everybody knows what they want, and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah.
So I sometimes I'll look at the menu of where we're going beforehand
Yeah.
so that, I know what's on the menu. It's
That
just yeah, yeah.
you know what? It is a panic. It's almost like it is. It's a little bit of a panic if I got to order something quick before I'm the last one holding up the whole table on, because nobody wants to say I haven't had a chance to look at the menu when the waitress comes over and everyone's like, God dang it! I know what I want. Everyone here knows what they want. What do you mean you haven't looked at the menu?
Yeah.
It's a panic of make sure you're
Yeah,
ready
and
when everyone else is
everybody's, like,
ready.
on a yeah, and everybody's, like, on a time
Yeah,
schedule, right?
exactly.
This is a business meeting, you don't have all day, this isn't a
Yeah.
casual yeah. Yes, so looking at the menu ahead of time is always
Yeah,
key.
yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Sean, appreciate the questions. Those were fun. Again, perfectlytwistedpod.com. Nicole's mailbag, it's at the top of the screen. You can get your questions in, and we'll get them on the show.
Yes, give us a like, a follow, a comment, a subscribe, and we will catch you next week.